All right, let's just jump right in. Look, if you're in tech, or honestly, if you even just casually follow AI, your social feeds are probably just blowing up right now over three little letters: MCP.
Oh, you know the ones I'm talking about. The YouTube thumbnails with the glowing laser eyes and the big shock faces. It's the hype cycle cranked up to 11. But you know what? Today, we're staging an intervention. We're going to cut right through all that noise and go straight to the source.
So here's the mission for today, and it's super simple. We're going to ignore all the hype. We are going to do the one thing nobody on the internet seems to do anymore. We're actually going to read the manual.
And look, this isn't some hot take from an influencer. This is the main analogy, right, from Anthropic's own documentation. They call it the USB-C port for AI. And honestly, it's a perfect analogy. I mean, if you're old enough to remember the days before USB-C, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That drawer of doom just filled with a tangled mess of weird proprietary cables for every single device. Well, that's exactly where we are with AI integrations today.
So to really get why this is a big deal, you first have to understand the problem it's trying to solve. And right now, the way we connect AI models to our actual data, our files, our tools, it's a clunky, inefficient mess. It's just not smart.
And this slide, this just nails the core argument perfectly. We're literally talking about basic math here. Right now, everything is a multiplication problem, which, as you know, scales horribly. MCP's whole goal is to turn it into a simple addition problem. Let me show you what that actually means in practice.
Okay, so let's imagine this scenario. Your company wants to try out, say, 5 different AI models, and you want to connect them to 10 of your internal tools. Things like Slack, GitHub, Jira, the usual suspects. In the world we live in right now, every single X on this chart, that's a separate custom built-in and super high-maintenance integration. Why? Because Claude's API speaks a totally different language than GPT-4's API, and that's different from Llama's API. It is, no exaggeration, an exponential maintenance nightmare.
And this is the aha moment. The math just completely flips. You go from building and maintaining 50 fragile custom bridges down to just 15 standard reusable parts. That's it. 5 little clients for your models and 10 servers for your tools. This isn't just a small tweak, you guys. It fundamentally changes the entire architecture from something totally unscalable into something you can actually manage.
All right, so that's the why. We get it. Now let's talk about the how. We're calling this section How the Plumbing Works. And to really get a handle on it, you just need to understand 3 key players, 3 roles in this whole system.
So first up, you've got the host. This is the app you actually see, the thing you type into, like the Claude desktop app. Simple enough. Now inside that host, there's the client. Think of this as the invisible plumbing, the part that actually speaks the MCP language. And that client connects, and this is important, it's usually right there on your local machine, to a server. The server is just a lightweight little translator that sits right on top of your data source, maybe your file system or a Google Drive folder. It's a really simple, really elegant, local first way for data to flow. Okay, so we get the architecture of the pipe, right? But what can actually flow through it? The protocol boils it down to 3 core capabilities. You can think of them as read, write, and how. And if you're the developer, it's your job to decide which of these you're going to turn on. Let's start with resources. This is the read part. The best way to think about it is like giving the AI a library card. It can go in, it can read your files, it can look at stuff in a database, it can gather all the context it needs, but it cannot change a single word. It's totally safe, totally passive, just a one-way street for information.
Next up, we have prompts. This is the how. Think of these as reusable templates or like little recipes. So instead of every single developer on your team trying to remember that perfect 50-line prompt for, say, generating unit tests, you just save it as a prompt. That way, you know everyone is using the exact same best practice way to ask the AI to do something. It's all about consistency. And last but not least, we've got tools. This is the right capability. And okay, this is where things get really powerful, but also, potentially, a little dangerous. Tools are what allow the AI to actually take action for you. We're talking sending a Slack message, creating a GitHub pull request, updating a database. This is the switch that flips a passive chatbot into an active agent.
Which brings us to the intervention I mentioned earlier. There's this really dangerous myth floating around that MCP is somehow inherently enterprise safe right out of the box. And I'm here to tell you, the official documentation says something very, very different. This isn't my opinion.
This is a direct quote from the Trust and Safety section of the official spec. And let me be absolutely crystal clear on this. The protocol, it just provides the pipe. That's it. It is 100% your responsibility as the developer to build the guardrails around it. The pipe has no idea if it's carrying clean drinking water or, toxic sludge.
So let's just think about this for a second. If an AI model hallucinates, or maybe gets a malicious instruction and it decides to issue a command to delete your entire customer database, well, the protocol will happily and efficiently deliver that command right to your server. The pipe works perfectly while the building is burning down. You have to understand this. Security and governance are not built-in features. You have to add them. So please, whatever you do, do not assume this thing is secure right out of the box. So that begs the question, right? Why would Anthropic build this whole thing and then just give it away for free? Well, it's not charity. It's actually a classic and frankly brilliant business strategy called commoditizing the complement. Think about it. Their core product is the AI model, right? The brain. The data it connects to is the complement. So if they can make connecting to data totally free, standardized, and super easy for everyone, well, that makes their brain way more valuable. They get to own the standard, the language everyone speaks, and that creates this powerful network effect that pulls everyone toward their core product, Claude.
Okay, so let's land this plane. Based on everything we've seen in the documentation, what's the final verdict?
Well, it's actually completely different depending on who you are.
So, if you're a tinkerer, a hobbyist, a solo developer, for you, it is a big green light. Go for it. The barrier to entry is basically zero, the documentation is fantastic, and you can honestly build a genuinely useful personal assistant for yourself this weekend. It's probably the most fun you can have coding in AI right now. Now, for the enterprise folks, it's a flashing red light. I'm serious. Proceed with extreme caution. The plumbing works, sure, but that critical governance layer just isn't there yet. We're talking no native audit trails, no centralized kill switches, no standard permission models. You are not ready to deploy this in a serious production environment. Not yet.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this. The next era of AI is absolutely being built on top of this new kind of plumbing. So don't just stand by and let it happen to you. Take an hour this week. Seriously, just go read the docs. Because at the end of the day, if you understand the pipe, you're the one who controls what flows through it. Subscribe to AI Frankly on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And if you want the full breakdown with all the links and sources, head to aifrankly.substack.com.
AI. Frankly, are we having fun yet?